Hi there, Cosmic Family. My name is Leal. Today is March 12th, and the moon entered in Capricorn. So we can focus in what is a priority right now to attend to decide. It is this realistic view, but not from what many times it is proposed as what I think is a distortion of the Capricornian energy. I mean, the realistic things as an equal of the cultural and social impositions. I am talking about this realistic view on, focusing on we understand that right now has a profound influence in our reality and that we cannot deny, because the sun is still in Pisces, and in a few days we are going to have a new moon that is already active. So many of the constructions and results that we want to see materialized, they have an important process in the energetical level, and obviously in the choices that we are doing from what is assimilated or not in that level. It happens a lot. People that want to create different connections, but they didn't they haven't transcended situations with the relationships in the present, with certain relationships, or they want to move to a new phase in their lives, but they didn't assume the decision that allows them to close the previous one, or they didn't assimilate it in the emotional level, those situations. So this is the topic of this lunation, and in certain cases we cannot even force rationally or with direct actions a process in a specific area of our lives, but we can make big changes from coming from tiny decisions or many decisions in other areas that are giving the indication that we are aligning with the will of the soul of moving forward. So tomorrow, March 13th, but active since the beginning of the week, we have the conjunction between Mars and the North Node in Pisces, and therefore opposition with the South Node in Virgo. For the people that have Mars in this sign, you are experimenting your return that happens every 2 years. So this is a moment we could be feeling very impulsed to new beginnings, but also to cuts with certain situations. We all have Pisces somewhere in our natal chart, so in that house it is where all the manifestations are happening right now. So this transit is a reactivation of the eclipse. I want to remind you that the North Node is the energy that requires integration, the portal that we go through to move to this new phase. In the South Node is the point where the limitant patterns that are creating, that are preventing us from moving forward and that we've been carrying for a while need to be clean. So this position of the nodes, Pisces, Virgo, we have been experimenting this officially from beginning of the 2025, and this 2026 they are going to change signs. So when a planet goes through the North Node and faces the South Node, this is implicit. We are asked for this integration of the function of the planet in a new evolutionary level. In the case of Mars, and in Pisces, it could be about an initiative that implies surrendering to something that we intuitively know, but we cannot know from this rational empiric space. For example, I need to let go of this kind of project of life that I am recognizing that is not contributing anything to my life. On the contrary, I am losing my energy in there, and I have to trust that a new opportunity is going to appear, even if this generates uncertainty or instability. For others, these initiatives could be linked with letting go of excessive criticism, the fear of being judged, these thoughts about I am lacking this or that, so I can start, when that is really an excuse to procrastinate an action. Or this pretension of perfection that is also a way of self-sabotage the process. Other different expression could be the transcendence of actions that could be linked with evasion. I am referring, to directions or experiences that are assumed to feel that we are doing something, that we are taking care of something, but truly are situations that are not aligned with the sense of the soul, and internally we can recognize that. And actually we are putting energy there to not face other things. For example, an internal emotional process, like grief, like sadness, or other challenging decisions. And as we don't want to feel that is uncomfortable, I am doing whatever thing, even if that is not truly constructive, and we end up investing our energy in experiences that operate as a distraction, but they are taking us nowhere, or even they are, they are coming into a deviation from the path that we need to go through. Or they could offer painful lessons to stop evading ourselves, because let's remember that Neptune, which is the ruler of Pisces, is right now with Saturn in Aries. And connecting with this could also imply this contact, leaving behind situations that we have sustained in denial of reality. Like, I am not feeling at peace in this situation, or at that place, in that dynamic, but we continue to do that because our mind is self-convincing us that it is the correct to keep tolerating, to keep helping, to keep giving energy, because in certain moment the person or the situation, it is going to change, when genuinely is not producing any growth right now. And we have to be aware, because being needed, or that other people can depend on us, could be an experience that unconsciously produces certain level of satisfaction. That's why we many of us have done that. What happens, it is that when the outside is reflecting how we are abandoning ourselves, or renouncing to that inner listening to do things for others, people start to behave in selfish ways, or we are attracting people that are only seeking for benefits, how they can take benefits from us. That is not something satisfactory, even is very painful. So in the case of Mars, could cause a lot of anger. And we are not guilty of how other people are acting. We cannot put the blame on that, on ourselves, for that. But it is important to look at the degree of responsibility in sustaining and choosing to stay in that kind of exchanges, and observing how we can be depending on the validation of other people or situations that are not offering anything substantial, in the fantasy that someday everything can change magically. And as the last perspective, that is very linked with what I was communicating at the beginning, perhaps there is nothing that we can do to accelerate right now a process, a manifestation, a result. So the act of surrender is to continue to take care, of our projects, of the things that we can learn, of the things that we have an immediate certainty that we have to do, and to stop and to leave the cosmos, the things that we cannot control. Even this can seem to be super simple. It is a lesson that many times could generate a lot of, excess of thinking, sadness. I don't know the word right now in English, but well, it is something that, because of our human tendencies, could be a challenge. Because even if we are approaching situations that respond to this listening of our intuition, the doubts of the mind could appear. If that is really producing growth, if that is truly taking us to a different situation or building what we want to build. And these doubts could increase, of course, when challenges appear. But actually, they appear because the expectations that we have are not accomplished yet. But if we are listening to ourselves truly, there are other signals that are indicating that there is growth anyways. Perhaps not in the level that we want, but they are indicating. So the integration of Pisces in this case is to stop worrying. I know it is challenging, of the things that are not in our power to control right now, and taking care of what it does. What happens many times, it is that when experiences are not coming through as we want, this could cause a lot of frustration in the case of Mars, again. And as a way of self-sabotaging ourselves and of complaining to life, many times we may want to abandon precisely what we need to keep sustaining. So this is important to remember too. Thank you, everyone. See you in the next video. Ciao, ciao.